coming to you from the brightest place in my house. Look at how friggin' bright it is in here. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, you definitely have the afternoon sun.
Wow. I looked up at it because the camera's at like a 200 ISO. So,
I don't know what that means. What does that mean?
It means the lower the ISO, the more light.
Is that the smaller the iris is?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, no, the iris is the is your T-stops.
Oh.
I'm currently at a 1.8. I'm at an f1.8.
Okay.
And I'm at a shutter speed of 1/25th. 1/125th, which is a very fast shutter speed. So.
Oh, okay.
It's bright. It's bright. Put it that way. Welcome back to Outside the Cinema, your weekly source for cult movie discussion. We're your hosts. I'm Bill. That's Chris, and we are here to give you semi-informed reviews about uninformed films.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Works.
I mean, that's not bad, right?
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. Especially today.
If you're watching live on Twitch, thank you very much. I say that now, even though knowing there's probably nobody watching yet because it literally just went live. So, but yeah, no, a couple reviews on the horizon for this week. We're going to be doing another found footage film to make up for the bad taste we have left in our mouth from the last 3 or 4 that we did.
Yeah,
something
does
called
it happen? Who knows?
Maybe a film called Apartment 143, which I discovered watching a new documentary that they just released on Shudder about found footage films. I don't remember the name of it offhand, but it's quite good.
I think it's the
good.
found footage.
Sure.
I think that's what it's called. No, I have no fucking idea.
I don't know.
It's on Shudder.
I think it's called like found footage phenomenon or something like that.
Yes.
But it's pretty good.
Good.
They cover a lot of stuff. They cover a lot of history. They obviously go back to like Mondo films, talk about Cannibal Holocaust, Blair Witch, the glut of garbage that came out, the difference between why so many big budget ones fail, and it's just good. And this was one that showed up in that fits our time frame of the 10-year rule. It actually was released in 2012, but was filmed in 2010. And there's some interesting stories to kind of go about why it took so long for it to come out. Which we can get into when we do the review, but I had not heard of it before, and it looked like it could be good. There was somewhat of a budget. It wasn't completely like bare bones, but it also wasn't like them trying to make like a $50 million film that's shot on a camcorder. So
yeah.
And then the other film, dipping back into the Rene Cardona catalog of Mexican genre films, we are doing The Batwoman.
Yes.
Which is readily available in a number of places, and this is something I don't even think I realized Chris, until I was looking for stuff for the show. So many of those old school Mexican genre flicks, the Mexican horror stuff, the Santo movies, almost all the Lucha Libre wrestling movies. So much of that stuff is now available on places like Tubi. Midnight Pulp is another app that has tons of that stuff, and it's all free. And it's all been redubbed, and it's been all cleaned up, and it's amazing because so many of those films, when we were trying to cover them 10 years ago, you couldn't find them. Either you couldn't find a copy of it, or the copy that you could find was a third-rate VHS, or taped off a TV with no subtitles, and so much. Not all of it's available, obviously, but so much of it's now available on those apps, and that's why I love apps like Tubi and Midnight Pulp. The Arrow Player, so many of them that just have these gluts of Digital Media Rights is a company that's been redoing a lot of them, and they're redubbing a lot of these ones because some of them didn't have dubs originally. And I personally like subtitles, but sometimes in a film, a good or bad dubbing can kind of make or break the film too. So
100%.
100%.
Bad subtitles can too.
Yes, bad subtitles are the worst.
Yeah.
I should know because the Japanese subtitles for Survival of the Film Freaks are real bad.
Oh.
I had them done non-professionally, which was my first mistake, and then sent them to Carando, director of Karate Kill and Gunwoman. I was like, hey man, so I got these Japanese subtitles done. Can you just watch a little bit of it and tell me how it is? And he's like, yeah, no problem. And he gets back to me and he's like, "Did you pay for these?"
Oh no.
And I was like, "Not very much in comparison." And he's like, "You should get your money back." He's like, "These are real bad." He's like, "I'm pretty sure somebody just ran them through a translator."
Oh,
and you can't. He's like, "And you can't do that." Like,
no, because you got to finesse it for language and understandability, comprehension.
Like, it doesn't make a lick of sense. He's like, "It's better than nothing," but it doesn't make a lick of sense.
Yeah.
A little Arnold Palmer right there. That's good stuff. So yeah, so the Batwoman and Apartment 143, which is also under the we'll get into it.
Yeah.
Next week's show, if you are a Patreon user, first of all, thank you very much. No show recorded next week until midweek. I'm going to be away for the holiday. And then the day I get back, I have to coach baseball at a time that we would normally record. So we are pushed to recording next week's show until Wednesday. So Patreon, you will get it on probably Wednesday evening. And then it'll go live out to everybody else on Thursday morning like it normally does. But just wanted to give you guys a heads up. Specifically Scott, because he'll be like, "Where's the show?"
Well, I think for the people that do pay to get it early, it is important to tell them that this is extenuating circumstance that happens like what are we looking at? 2-3 times a year we got to do something
maybe.
like that.
And if for some reason you guys aren't getting it till Tuesday morning, that's based on the fact that I'm running right out to baseball from recording.
Yeah.
But I usually put it up first. Make sure to put it up first thing in the morning on Tuesday anyway. So
4 days till Kenobi comes out. All right.
Are we excited? Are we excited for it?
You know, I don't like Ben as a Jedi. I think he's a shitty Jedi and like the cause of all of the problems of the galaxy. But
oh, sorry, the nuanced style of his Jedi ways don't fall.
No, he was just a fucking
you set.
dick about it. Well, he learned from Qui-Gon, who learned from Count Dooku. I mean, come on. That's like making a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy, and then you make me review it for the show. But no, there's some interesting assassin or bounty hunter droids. Darth Vader and Ben Obi-Wan are going to have lightsaber duels. So yeah, this is the kind of prequel I would have wanted when I was a little kid.
Okay.
And you know what? I'm not a dick about stuff. Like, I will watch it and then judge it.
Fair. I did watch the first episode of Moon Knight.
Okay.
So far, so good. I mean, it's just the first episode, but
it's short too. It's a nice six season.
Is it six episode? Six episodes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like it so far. I don't really know where it's going. I know nothing about the character. I've kept myself. In general, I keep myself pretty ignorant to almost everything now. Like, I don't pay attention to trailers anymore. I don't read a whole lot of reviews or anything until after I've seen something.
Yeah.
Like, if I see something that I know that I'm interested in, I purposely just don't pay attention to any of the noise around it.
Right.
I'm not on Facebook nearly as much as I used to be. Facebook, let's be honest, Facebook was the thing that basically ruined everything for me in general. Whether it was spoilers or annoying fanboys or just people that can't, let things lie. But since I've separated myself from Facebook pretty much exclusively, other than like our group, and it's so much better. It's just so much better, man.
I have definitely. At first, it was just like, oh, I guess this is how people are, and then I'm like, yeah, but I don't have to put up with that. And I do like the people that I talk with, and the groups I'm in. But bless you. But for other stuff that I like, it's really iffy. Like, I've been in a bunch of groups with Star Wars stuff, and some of it was just straight up hate and homophobia and like shit that didn't belong in there. And then I found one group that's okay, and I dumped the rest, and I do that now. It's like I don't, if it starts to make me feel like shit or ruin my day, or I think about a negative thing that somebody posted about monkeypox and how it's fine, it's like a pimple. You know what? I don't need to bother with you. But to keep my writing skills up, I do sometimes go after people. And mostly it's people that think they can joke about gay people and gender identity. Because fuck you. Come here and say that to my face.
I will.
I'll tell you you're wrong.
Yeah, those
to
people
your
shouldn't
face.
do that.
Right.
Those people shouldn't do that.
Right. And that's the thing that kills me. Real quick, and then I'll get off my soapbox. Who cares? Who cares what you think about somebody living 4,000 miles away from you does?
No, preach on, brother.
That's good. Sounds condescending, but it's good.
It wasn't meant to be.
No, but that's the thing that really gets me. It's like my daughter decides what they want to be called. Who the fuck are you? With grown-ass children knowing what you are, who are you to decide what other people can and can't do? This shit.
More importantly, why do you care?
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
I don't care what anyone wants to call themselves.
Here's the thing. The world is a scary fucking place that's not meant for your pleasure. You have to find your place in the world. And you have to be the person that will fit in with society. Tough. You can't be an asshole. You've got to be a good person, or people aren't going to like you. I can't tell you how many people I have heard, old people say, nobody talks to me anymore. Well, it's because you were a fucking dick your whole life. And now when you're alone, no one wants to talk to you because you're a miserable puss. Laugh tracks suck, no matter the context. They're just awful.
I'm just adding some levity to it.
It's just, you know, but at least people can say, I don't know. Anyway, fuck it. Let's get to these stupid movies. Your point was you pulled off of Facebook, and I've kind of consolidated it down to just stuff that I find positive. Like, I got a lot of stuff with like pit bulls and puppies and like penguins and wholesome shit because my brain needs that.
Oh, I don't have an awe button set up. Sorry.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
But that would have been perfect for it.
It would have. And the only other thing I'm going to say is I think my favorite comedy right now is What We Do in the Shadows. And I highly recommend that to everybody.
It's so good. I've watched the first 3 seasons like 4 times. Like,
oh, yeah.
And the new season starts next month.
It does. Oh, I'm so happy for that.
Yeah.
That is, hands down, some of the funniest stuff I've ever seen.
Oh, the Jackie Daytona episode is literally one of my favorite things ever.
That stuff's great. I hate Emily, if she still listens, knows how much I hate dolls. Right? Mm-hmm. I would let Nadia doll live with me. That's an adorable talking doll. That's fine. Yeah.
No, yeah, the Jackie Daytona episode is so good.
Yeah.
The one where they go to the town, like the town meeting.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
I have my finger up indicating
Daytona,
I need. What's that?
My favorite thing about Jackie Daytona, though, when he's just like, I'm just an ordinary human bartender who loves high school volleyball.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and Mark Hamill was great. I'll have one human alcohol martini. Oh. An educated man. Or whatever he says.
Oh, it's so good.
There is one, real quick, because I know Apartment 143 isn't going to give us
said
anything.
Real quick.
Yeah, because I got a lot of stuff to say real quick. Nandor's thing through the whole. Put your watch down. Nandor's thing. No. I got. It wasn't. I legitimately. I got a reminder thing. It's for the audience to think you're hurrying me. Nandor's whole thing is he says "fucking guy," right, for everything. Yep. One time when Kristen Shaw was giving them the tour underground, she appears in a doorway and scares them all, and he says, "Fucking guide." And it's so subtle, but it's like that's hilarious. It's he said the exact same thing he always says, but different. I like that. There's a lot of really clever stuff in that show.
Speaking of really clever, Apartment 143 from 2012. Is it a really clever found footage film? I don't know. We're going to talk about it. Here's the trailer. And not a Propel water commercial.
If it's a 30-minute fart, that would be acceptable.
My name is Alan White. I'm a widower, I guess. After my wife passed away, things in the house started to become very odd. Honestly, I started to get really concerned for the safety of my kids. We moved to this place, and everything was fine. And then it all started again.
Man, looks like any old building.
Here they all do.
Check. 1, 2.
Let's talk about why you got in touch with the Institute.
I just want to know how we ended up in a haunted house. What did I miss? Ever since my wife died, Benny's always kind of played like she was in the room.
Just not dead or alive.
Is it scary?
Yeah.
Temperatures dropped by 14 degrees in a matter of seconds in the kids' room.
What's happening?
What is that?
Oh my God, what is doing that?
Mom.
It's been years since we've encountered a real haunting.
It's a poltergeist syndrome.
Sometimes I think that she's here.
Something's about to happen.
Is there anyone there with you?
Yes. Look, I don't care what you call it. There's something weird just living here.
Wanna press the button?
Alrighty. Apartment 143, also known under the title Emergo. Yeah, this is one that kind of slipped by. Whoops, that's the wrong button. I don't have the information in front of me if I hit that one. They kind of slipped by most of us, I think. It was shot and filmed in 2009. It did not get released until May of 2012. And the reasoning is because it was made independently, but seemed to have a number of things in common with a couple of other films that were started after it, but because they were in the studio system, were able to be finished and released first. Those films would be Paranormal Activity, which wasn't made in the studio system, but was put out in the studio system.
It was bought by a studio, yeah.
Bought by a studio.
Which is way different, yeah.
Which is way different. And The Last Exorcism.
Which is way different than anything in this movie, so.
Right, but similar themes. Similar.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Last Exorcism knew what a poltergeist was, so.
Well, they kind of made that up on this as they were going along, but that's
Whatever.
not the point. Starring a number of faces. The only one I recognized was Wild Dog. He was the only one that looked familiar to me.
I couldn't see anybody's face. That's how dark this movie was. It was. It wasn't dark. It was sepia-toned and grainy.
Yes. Parapsychology team is asked to investigate the White family in apartment 143 of a rundown building. Alan White, played by Kai Lennox, has lost his wife, initially explained as being an unspecified illness, but later clarified as an automobile accident during a psychotic episode. The family started to experience strange events shortly after her death and relocated from their prior home to the apartment that they are currently in. The move was initially successful, but after about a week, strange incidents resumed in their new location. The team consists of Dr. Helzer, played by Michael O'Keefe, Paul Ortega, played by Rick Gonzalez, who, as I said, is Wild Dog in the Arrow universe, and the technician Ellie Keegan, played by Fiona Glasscott. After they set up their equipment, they get some compelling evidence on camera. Yeah. That's it in a nutshell.
Sure.
So, Chris, had you heard it? Had you heard of this one?
I fired it up on Tubi and realized I had 10 minutes left in it. So, yes, I had seen this before. So I started it over. And Jesus fucking Christ, what a waste of time.
Wow, okay.
I stopped watching when the guy said that a poltergeist wasn't a ghost. Because if you can't get that right, fuck you and fuck your movie. Poltergeist literally translates from German to noisy ghost.
Well, what's his explanation of it then?
Oh, it's
that people can understand
psychokinetic energy. Also, they have a Faraday cage to prevent what? I don't know. Electromagnetic interference. That's what Faraday cages are for. Don't try. Look, Dan Aykroyd can write sci-fi fantasy techno jumbo like nobody's fucking business. And that's what they tried to do here. But what they didn't have is apparently the basic knowledge of the fundamentals of, the mythologies of ghosts.
Okay.
So I said, fuck you. And I shut it off when he said, oh, it's not a poltergeist, aren't ghosts. Really? Because I think Heather O'Rourke, I believe that's her name, knows the definition of poltergeist better than you do. She's been dead for 40 years.
All right, then.
It just pisses me off. That's like basic fucking information if you're making a ghost movie. Also,
Chris.
Huh?
So I said, it's spicy, Chris, we got today.
Yeah, no, this movie pissed me off because I couldn't see a fucking thing. We're introduced to the two younger characters with the one dude being a fucking dick to the girl driving the car, who seems to be serious about this. And then we're introduced to the guy that's teaching the class who just seems fucking bored to be there. The father has no control because he's not a father, so like he's not acting like any father would in front of his kids, and the daughter is angry for nothing, which I guess is typical teenage behavior. So fuck it, we'll just do with that and not explain any of this shit, so that we can maybe have sympathy for the characters, understand why this team went there. Like nothing happened. Literally nothing. A picture got turned upside down in the first 45 minutes. Other found footage movies give you some kind of connection to feel. Even that shitty group of kids in the beginning of Friday the 13th, the remake one, even they, you could be like, you were against them, but you weren't ambivalent to all of them. I didn't give a shit about any of these people. And I will say, though, to be fair, that little kid was trying his hardest to be an actor. So I'm not going to shit on him because he's a little kid and he did the best he could. See, so
okay.
What happens after the 45-minute mark, which I clearly watched and forgot all about?
Well, before I get to the 45-minute mark, I actually was into this at the start, and kind of how it played off. I liked that they used a number of different pieces of equipment.
Yes.
They showed them setting up different cameras. They showed them setting up security cameras. They showed them using GoPros. They showed them using handheld cameras.
They also showed them using a green filter and telling me it was night vision when the kids' pupils didn't light up white.
And they also showed them like wiring up the different bedrooms, and this is where we get introduced to the daughter. And the daughter is basically like a huge bitch.
She's just a complete asshole, yeah.
And we find out why later on, but it's not important to the point right now. But like, and the father is just so woefully unprepared for what's happening and what's going on. But I liked that we got that side of things, and we didn't get like the tapes were found or blah 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 or any of this or any of that. And it was like you get put into it, but you're given explanations as to where camera angles are coming from and why there's a constant recording and why they're able to pull different angles of things. There's no music or anything added, which is good because it is shown in an edited fashion, so they could have done something like that, but they didn't.
Because the one thing I think that confused me was there was a device he was working on that was it was pixelated, which I thought was a strange choice in a found footage movie, because then clearly that means someone manipulated the footage.
Unless they were taking it from a stream, because all of the stuff was streaming to one computer. So You
I don't
could
know.
potentially look at it that way. I mean, it's a minor. I get it. It's a minor thing in comparison to what we've seen in some other movies, though, with technology.
It just having it pixelated like it was somebody's genitals was just such a weird. I'd never seen that in a found footage movie. But also they don't purport to say that, like you said, oh, this was found in a garbage dumpster, 40 miles from where it happened or whatever.
Right. And the way that the film ends, too, like, it gives you the story that, like, this isn't, spoiler, this isn't one where, like, everybody dies and, like, the footage is found years later. It's
right.
Presented as, like, the findings of their investigation or something like that.
Right. So it's more, we're talking more mockumentary than found footage at that point then.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. Which is
but
fine.
no, like, there's no, like, cut-in interviews or anything like that of, like, like, taken after the fact. It's all in the moment.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So I agree with you, though, that the guy that was the lead doctor was a black hole of emotion. I don't, you don't really get to know much about the scientists at all, other than like they've worked together before. They come from the same institute.
Yeah.
There may or may not be something going on between the two younger ones.
But they don't build that up enough for us to give a shit.
Right. And
So-
I think my issue with the film comes from you're going to, when you get to that 45-minute point, you're starting to lean into the emotional aspect of why this is affecting the family, why the daughter is being affected the way she is, why the son's being affected the way he is, the way the father's being treated, and it all kind of depends on a very high emotional event that happened. But we're not given an opportunity to feel emotions for these characters because they're presented so one-dimensionally that you're not really given an opportunity to care about them because we don't know enough about them to care about them.
Yeah.
Like the information you're given in the trailer about the wife passing away, and in the synopsis about how, there was some confusion as to whether it was an illness or whether it was a car accident. Like, that's really all you get.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Until
it's not for
dump.
a while either.
Yeah, that's the other thing, too, is when you get to that informational dump and, like, really the explanation as to what's going on and why. Well, not so much what's going on, but why it's going on.
Yeah.
It's so late in the film at that point that, like, you can't then start to care.
Right.
Because it's so deep and essentially, like, it's just, like, they give you that information so that when we have that, quote-unquote, final confrontation, you have the reason why it's happening.
Yep.
And it's a little too late in the film. But at the same time, though, I don't know whether you could give all of that information at the 30-minute mark and not have the thing completely fall apart.
Right, but you could have the angry daughter start giving out little hints. Like, she could click with somebody.
I thought we were going to get that, too.
You know?
Because it's the point where she's in the room with the male cameraman. And they're setting up in her room, and the female scientist is setting stuff up. And I don't remember what she said, but the daughter said something, and she's looking at the male cameraman, and the female scientist says something, and she's like, "I wasn't talking to you." And so you look like, okay, there's going to be a connection between her and the younger male scientist / cameraman, and then they don't really go anywhere with that. Like, I was expecting then for her to be like, well, I'm only going to talk to him and give him like information, or have them have some like off to the side conversation about something, and like, you know what I mean?
Right, because that's what you do. Then you press the father for the information, and then it comes out, and then there's your resolution because you got to let go or take responsibility or whatever.
Yeah, because the resolution we get comes from the older scientist about how he knew all of this stuff already. Like,
oh, if I made,
I
I would have gotten my car and found the person that wrote that if I had got that far in the movie.
Because he sits there and he's like, "You don't think I did my research on you? I know exactly what happened." And he's like, "Oh, I know." He's like, "You can't lie to me. I know everything." I'm like, it just.
So is he there to bust him and get him arrested, or?
No, they were still there to, look at the poltergeist or whatever. But the thing that I thought was really kind of interesting / also annoying kind of dates back to that idea of that they try to give what a poltergeist is this new meaning.
Yeah.
But yet it still like comes across as ghosts. Like,
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's still presented as ghosts just not necessarily the singular spirit that we were being led to believe that it was. Which I think, in theory, is an interesting idea. And it's actually not presented poorly, but how they frame it is poor because they frame it as a poltergeist. And once you use that word, you can't take it back.
Right. It would have been interesting if he's like, I've never encountered anything like this before. It's something new.
Right.
How fucking tough is that?
Not tough.
Jesus Christ.
Not tough at all.
In Grave Encounters, you got the cameraman TC, who's kind of a stubborn dick for most of the movie. But when he's on the phone talking to his daughter and the wheelchair moves and then he gets pushed down the stairs, it doesn't matter that he argues with everybody because, he does and doesn't have a point when he argues sometimes. But you get to know them and they're a group of friends and they all care about each other. And because they care about each other, you do by default.
Right. Right.
And there are characters that I really don't like in movies. And still, it's like, well, he didn't do anything that terrible. I mean, he shouldn't die for it. That kind of thing. It's like, there was nothing. There was nothing for any of these people. I mean, that's really just the whole movie. And
I feel like this is now something that we come across in almost every found footage movie that we watch, is that there's no character development.
Yeah.
If you go back and you think to the ones that are good, like you talk about Blair Witch, you talk about Paranormal Activity, Grave Encounters is the other one you bring up, and even the one we watched last year that we really liked about the serial killer, Long Pigs. All of those, what makes all of those successful is like you just said, you care about those characters.
You have to have a compelling person in front of the camera. You can't just throw anybody up there. I mean, you can't. You can if that's the only option you have, but you shouldn't.
Yeah, effects in this are fine. The issue that I have with the effects in this is that it's all or nothing. It's like either just like some tiny little thing moving, or it's like this fully formed apparition lunging at the camera. You know what I mean? Like there's no like shadow out of the corner of the eye, or just like a small little thing of banging on the wall and knocking things off the wall, or
the black shadow moving from one doorway to another. Yeah.
Or even they have that cool shot. I mean, it's not a cool shot, but it's just like that's like the GoPro security camera shot from the corner of the room with like the doorway there. All you need to do is just have somebody walk by that doorway.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's just somebody in like a black cloak just walk by the doorway.
In the movie, the Dyatlov Pass incident, which is interesting, not great, but interesting. They're trying to figure out what happened historically at the Dyatlov Pass, where it was this whole strange occurrence where people died. Like they reacted against common sense and what nature preservation would tell them to do. And at one point, there's a shot, a wide shot, and there's a ridge and some rocks. And if you're paying attention, you see these two little things off in the distance scurry in between the rocks. And you may not catch it the first time. You might, but when you do, it's chilling because you're like, oh shit, something is bad there. You didn't get that with this. Nothing. Nothing to make you feel like this is interesting. And could this be any more fucking brown? Oh my God.
I think, and that's an aesthetic choice or an artistic choice
it's
that they decided
choice.
to make.
I don't know if it's artistic.
I mean,
maybe it was like, I can't color match this, but I can color match brown.
Well, and that's the thing too. And like when you're using 5 different types of cameras with 5 different types of lenses, you're not going to be able to match them. So don't try to lean into it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just let them look the way that they look.
Don't
a GoPro and
don't American Graffiti to the thing though, and use different
different
frame sizes. ratios.
Right.
That's whatever.
I
I'm
mean,
trying
we're
to
talking
think of.
2009. We're talking probably what GoPro
Yeah.
1s or 2s. So they're the very early ones, which are just we're not great. But yeah, it's a little too much, on the coloring in terms of like trying to make it look. And I get it, like it's supposed to be like this rundown, really old building, that's in like where they're supposed to be, like New Mexico or somewhere, like, or maybe even California. I don't know. They didn't really actually say, but like everything is very washed out and very very brown and tan.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
all right, well, nope, that's not right. Recommend. What's your grade?
No, D.
Okay.
I mean, honestly, this falls definitely in the. If somebody said, "Oh, this fell through the cracks," the response is, "Yeah, there's a good reason for that."
Okay.
I tried to watch it twice. That's it. I mean,
did not hate it nearly as much.
I
as you.
literally made it all the way up until they were gonna like have the final resolution, and I'm like, you know what? I just don't care. I don't. And that was before I had to watch it, and then I was really paying attention to it. And I'm like, this dialogue makes no sense, and it feels like they're just talking out loud, not to each other. So I will not talk while you go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't hate it nearly as much as you.
Yeah.
I can't say that I was like really into it,
Yeah.
but I definitely didn't hate it. It was fine. And I'm probably only saying that because the last couple we've done have been real bad. This is head and shoulders better than Fear Footage.
Oh yeah, but
And what was
Fear
the one
Footage
from last week?
Fear Footage felt different. This just felt like a by the numbers. Let's do this because we can make some money with it.
Yeah, but felt
I don't know.
different is not always a good thing.
No, but Fear
it was
Footage.
fine.
Fear Footage, to a certain extent, felt like they really enjoyed what they were doing. I could be wrong, but
That one guy that was involved with it?
yes, the cop. No, it was not good.
I mean, the cop had to be the director.
It was not good, but it was bad in a different way.
What was the other one? What was the one we did last week? Or was it last week?
Fuck, I don't
Or 2 weeks ago?
remember. I don't know.
It was that bad though that it didn't even like make a blip on the radar.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a C. C minus. It was fine. It was better than a lot of the garbage we've watched. I do think it may have hit differently had it been able to be released, the same time as those other ones, because it's really not that much worse than the glut of a lot of the other ones we saw. And the fact that Magnet Releasing purchased it to distribute it and then decided to not put it out for 2.5 years, 3 years, or whatever it was.
Yeah, because somebody
definitely
watched
didn't do it
it.
any favors.
Yeah.
It wasn't that bad. Come on, man.
It was boring, and that's bad.
I can't deny that.
Yeah.
Can't deny that. Can't deny that, my friend. So there you have it. Apartment 143. That is available to watch the stream on Tubi if Chris didn't ruin it for you.
No, don't watch it. I'll tell you all about it. In Last Exorcism, right, the movie starts to wind down, and then they pass that diner, and they're like, hey, we should see if that Logan kid's working there. And then the Logan kid says to her, yeah, no, I only said hi to her like once. And she claims that she was pregnant with his kid. And then that blows the whole movie open. And then nothing like that happened in 143. It was just boring, 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 boring. Oh, a picture's different. Boring. Something moved. Boring, boring. Daughter's yelling. Oh, who gives a shit? But that's the
Okay.
thing. There was no hook to get you back for the big finale.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll move on to 1968's The Batwoman, or La Muerte Murcielago. That was real bad.
That was real
Here's,
bad.
here's
I'm
Glenn.
sorry. I don't always comment.
Buenas noches. Buenas. Siéntese. Gracias. De acuerdo con lo que hablamos, me comuniqué con la persona que nos puede ayudar y con la cual he trabajado ya en la solución de varios casos. ¿La mujer murciélago? Sí, inspector. ¿Quién es esa mujer?
All right, so now you get an idea what it sounds like upon with its original dialogue. Please hold and let me open Tubi here, because you guys got to hear the difference in the. Do we even? Maybe I don't. I might not even have Tubi on my iPad.
How dare you?
Because I never watch. Well, no, because I never watch. I never watch anything on my iPad. So
True.
what the hell? Apple Tools? Do I really not have it? Can I watch it? Put it on here? No, because you guys don't even understand the difference between the the redubbing of it.
It's so crazy.
I really don't have it. I don't have it. I don't
It's
have the app
less
on
a redubbing and more of a dramatic reenactment of the dialogue
That's a really good way to put
with
it, actually.
inexperienced actors.
Getting Tubi, hang on. Oh man, come on. Let's go. Come on. All right. This is more work than it needed to be.
So
I'm
anyway,
sorry.
usually when I start talking about something else, you get it to work. So
I'm so close, dude. I'm so close.
So Apartment 143 is like so. Is it working now?
Well, I've got it. But the thing I wanted to mention was the Batwoman. Also, if this sounds familiar to you, it was featured on Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Okay.
Actually, I think it might have been the sequel that had been featured on Mystery Science Theater. But did I not watch this on Tubi?
No, that's.
I thought I did.
Yeah. You have to
Why is it
type
not
in
showing up
the
now?
in front of it though.
I did. I did.
Nothing's coming
I
up.
did. No, just the Mystery Science one.
Weird. Let me see what mine says.
It's also available on Midnight Pulp to watch there too. This is so annoying.
If I could spell Tubi, it's only 4 fucking letters. If I could spell Tubi, it'd be great. All right, so
That's weird because I just watched it yesterday. Oh man, what the fuck?
well, it's Monday. Maybe they changed it out. No,
Maybe.
there it is. I have it under continue watching on mine. Let me see if it plays.
Don't even.
Yeah. Weird.
Fucking unbelievable. Nothing. I just wanted to show you guys something cool, man.
Oh yeah, if you type in
wanted to show
the Batwoman, you only get the Wild World of Batwoman, and then Birds of Prey, and then,
That's weird, right?
even scrolling down, probably because they're like, nobody's gonna watch this. Let's just have it to have content. I wonder if you put it in quotes, would it help? No,
This is something nobody cares about.
no,
whatsoever.
but this is weird. Just type in Batwoman. Just know the.
There it is.
Okay,
Shows up when you just type in Batwoman.
that's stupid. Okay.
all right.
But it's
so
the
let me hang on.
Batwoman if you're looking for it on IMDb.
All right. Oh, and now I close the window.
Oh my God!
Son of a bitch. Oh, you got that groovy music.
I love that.
You're about to witness the discovery of the century. From the depths of the ocean over 400 million years ago, surfaced the beginnings of the human race. And it all began with the first vertebrate, the fish. Starting from that point, we will make the regression to the dawn of evolution. And we will create...
It's so okay. So Renee Cardona directed this, who we've talked about on the show a number of times over the years. And it is essentially their version of Adam West's Batman with a female lead.
Yeah.
Right down to the color scheme, right down to the music. No boom pow graphics or anything like that, but it's pretty much exactly what you would expect it to be. And Renee Cardona is known for doing a lot of different Santo flicks, a lot of like genre films just in from Mexico around this time period that some are so good and some are so bad. It's it's really hit or miss. But like his Santo stuff, like Santo and the Vengeance of the Mummy, and I think he did Santo versus the Headhunters, Santo and the Riders of Terror, which is the spaghetti western one. I think he also did Night of the Bloody Apes, if I'm not mistaken, which we covered on the show at one point too.
Yeah, I remember that.
So Santo. Oh, he did Santo versus the Ghost of the Strangler. That's one of my favorites. So. It's just their basic version of them trying to do a Batman story with a sexy luchador wrestler as the lead.
I'm gonna say something that may be a little not sacrilegious, but against the grain, I guess we'll say.
Okay, all right.
This movie showed the origin of Two-Face better than most movies that have Two-Face in it. It's a little backwards. Batwoman does throw the acid on the evil guy, but still, it was acid, and Batwoman man was there when it happened.
It's true.
And
it's true.
And if I remember right, there was some argument that happened because Two-Face couldn't be used because he was too gruesome for the 60s show. So they never used him there. That's why they created like Egghead and King Tut and stuff like that. That's what I read, at least. I don't know how true that is. But
either way, the film opens with, in the words of them on the screen, yet another dead luchador.
Yeah.
Another dead wrestler floating in the water. We know that they're in Acapulco because they say it about 7 or 8 times.
Yes.
They mentioned that he's the 5th dead wrestler that they've found. He's had all of his penile juices removed.
Yes. Which is
that a real thing?
See, now, I always thought it was pineal, but every place else says how did you say it? Pineal.
Pineal.
It's said different than how I thought it was said, so I don't know. But that's the same gland that
the pineal gland.
Yeah, that they use in what's it called there? That other Lovecraft one that Jeffrey Combs did with
Reanimator. No, not Reanimator, the other one.
Yeah, the other one. With the resonator and the different The fuck is that called? The Beyond? From Beyond?
From Beyond, yes.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. That's what happens when you make me watch an awful movie. I forget everything good.
Fair. So all of the pineal gland juices have been removed from these wrestlers. We are then introduced to a mad doctor who is the mad doctor to end all mad doctors.
Yeah.
He's not even a mad doctor. He's a mad scientist.
Yes,
he's that far.
Which is better.
So what he is trying to create using these pineal juices is literally one of the funniest things I've ever heard of in my life.
Yeah.
He is obsessed with fish and how they've come out of the sea and how they act and stuff. So he is legitimately trying to create a half man, half goldfish hybrid, which he's going to use to be his personal, murderer. That's what he is breeding a half man, specifically a half man, half goldfish creature to kill for him.
Yeah.
So we're first introduced to this idea by a test that he runs in his laboratory. Laboratory, my bad, not a B, not a V. Where he's got the most common fish tank in the world with a adorable little goldfish swimming around in there.
Yep.
He drops some drops of the pineal juice into the water. He then takes a Ken doll, puts the Ken doll into the aquarium, and then has his Igor guy, and I say Igor guy because his name is Igor, cover the tank, and he's like, the reaction is starting, and then all these water bubbles just start going in the tank.
The poor fish.
So I'm like, he put a plastic doll in there.
Yep.
How is this gonna how is this going to work?
It worked.
And it doesn't work. It fails.
It worked in Weird Science. So who knows?
Yeah, and it fails, and he's like, we failed again. And then Igor makes the mistake of going, it's okay, there's time. And then the scientist guy grabs him by the throat, and he's like, are you insane, man? There's never time. We need to do it, and we need to do it now. And Igor's like, oh, all right, cool. We'll do it now. So we have learned about these 5 dead wrestlers. So we need to bring the Batwoman in.
Yeah.
There is no origin story for the Batwoman. There is no
Well, no, they do that whole exposition dump for the first 15 minutes of the movie about how she's a marksman and can ride horses and she's a socialite and blah, blah, blah. Basically, I'm looking at this saying, don't you fucking tell me how to Batman movie. I know how to Batman already. I get it.
Fair. And she's also a world famous luchador wrestler.
Yeah.
So they bring her in, and what I find so interesting is when she does her luchador wrestling, she is in like a full bodysuit, but when she is Batwoman on her own, she is in the skimpiest bikini you've ever seen.
Yes. Well, it's Acapulco, so
it's true. And she's awesome. Maria Monti plays the Batwoman, aka Gloria. And of course, all of the men pine for her, and all of the men want to be with her. It's
what, though?
Exactly what you would expect it to be.
I can understand that. This is one of the few times where I'm like, "Yep, I get it, because
she's gorgeous. Yeah, she's gorgeous.
Yeah, but she's smart, and she is really like, she is pretty much exactly how you would think a Bruce Wayne would be, because like, she's not dumb. She definitely knows what's going on. I mean, they didn't just make her a woman in a skimpy outfit.
No, she's good at what she does.
Yeah.
So she goes to like the wrestling academy or whatever, and she's trying to figure out what's going on there because the wrestlers are all being found dead, and one of the wrestlers is going on a fishing trip, and he needs to make sure everybody knows he's going on a fishing trip.
Yeah.
I'm going on a fishing trip. I wish I could find that clip because it's friggin' hilarious the way he says it. Let me hang on. Let's see if I can find it here. Nope. All right.
From the depths of the ocean. Phone calls, ma'am.
We still should investigate them.
Oh.
All right, hang on.
Hey, hold on.
Here it is.
Hey, how's it going, Jose? Did you bring me good news?
Of course, Reco. When have I ever failed you? I had to play my cards extremely right, but I got you the boat at half the price.
Oh, man, that's awesome.
Are you going fishing?
Yeah, for the remainder of the day. And I'll bring back fish this big for you guys.
Good luck, Reco.
Thank you very much, Jose, for your help.
You're welcome. I always aim to please.
Now, that's a good man.
That's true.
Well, I'm off to sea and I'm going to catch a swordfish. A red porgy or a whale, maybe.
Huh?
Or maybe a whale.
Let me ask you a question here, because I don't know how to feel about this.
What?
So they dubbed the movie, right?
Yep.
But gave them accents.
They did.
Why? Like,
I mean, it's very obvious it's a Mexican-made movie, so
yes. But it initially comes off as really a dumb racist decision, but were the voice actors, did they have accents? That's the part I don't know. Did they hire people that speak Spanish so that it would seem more realistic if it was in English,
maybe,
I guess?
I don't know, because I feel like the dubbing in general is done super tongue-in-cheek anyway.
Yeah.
So it's not being played serious. Like, it comes off very silly.
Right.
And it seems pretty obvious that it's meant to come off silly.
Okay.
So I don't really think I thought about it, to be honest.
All right. It was my first was like, it was like the first dude that was talking at the desk, explaining who Batwoman is. And I'm like, oh. Yeah. But then the rest of the movie went on, and I'm like, I guess. All right, that's fine. I don't know.
It fits. I mean, it's silly. The movie is silly.
Yeah, I did. However, I got sick of the dubbing about halfway through, and I'm like, I wonder if I can find this anyplace else to see what their original voices were. And it's on YouTube, and it's subtitled.
It is.
So I watched the second half, subtitled. I mean.
You didn't get to hear the dubbed sounds of the monster then.
No. I'll bet they were the same, though. It sounds like the sound in the Mexican version probably is the same.
Let me see if I can find him real quick. Hold on. Here.
May I ask what you're looking for?
Oh, here we go. He's snorting like a pig.
You know, that's the same.
Is it the
Yeah,
same?
they didn't change that. He sounds really like sad when he makes some of his noises.
Yeah.
Like,
oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
This movie's a lot of fun.
It really is.
It's a lot of fun. It's real weird. It's real weird. But it's that, like, super innocent weird. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes.
The creature straight up rip off of the Gill Man. I mean...
You know what, though? That didn't piss me off. I saw it, and I'm like, oh, good for you, movie. That was good.
Well, that's the thing. Nothing about this movie made me angry because, like, the stuff that they were ripping off, like, they were ripping off the right stuff.
Yeah. And they knew
know what
they
I
were
mean?
ripping
Like-
it off. They didn't put a bat symbol on her chest, and that's it. That's all they changed. When she's in a wrestling
she's in
outfit.
a bikini.
No, I'm sorry. When she's in a wrestling outfit.
the wrestling outfit, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I totally get that. I'm totally okay with that.
Yeah, no, it's fun. It's fun. It's and like it's funny to watch these films because, and I find this with a lot of the Santo flicks too. Like I can't tell how serious they were taking it at the time of making it. So it's kind of like this kind of weird feeling, like when Santo rolls up in like a turtleneck and a suit coat with his luchador mask on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, am I supposed to take this serious, or am I supposed to understand? Yeah, this guy's wearing a wrestling mask while he's out to dinner.
Right.
He's ordering a steak in his blue mask. Like, am I supposed to be like? Is that like? That's just okay. All right. All right.
My favorite is when they were all sitting by the pool in their cable knit sweaters for their business meeting. That was awesome. Absolutely awesome.
Yeah, I think the only thing with this movie that I can kind of just say is like, I mean, the hero, she's great. The monster's fun, but they're just not on screen enough. Like the two of them, she spends almost as much time out of her bat gear as just Gloria, as she does in the gear. And there's a little too much time of like guys like trying to like be like, we should be together, Batwoman.
Yeah.
And she's like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, clearly she doesn't
Good.
give a shit what they want.
She's like, I don't need your time.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that.
But it's fun. It's fun, man. Yeah. All right. All right, Chris, do you recommend it? Was your grade for La Muerja Murcielago?
I don't know what movie you just said the name of, but for this movie, yeah, I 100% recommend this. It was hilarious and fun, not in a mean way. It's really, it's like, it's one of those like you can watch with kids and be like,
oh, for sure,
this is hilarious, right? This is great. And I had a couple of thoughts. Like, this is like if this was an American movie, she would have been the female version of Rudy Ray Moore because of her karate chopping.
Yep.
She liked to karate chop 2 hands at a time, sometimes in at the person's neck and sometimes out at 2 other people. She cannot fight. She can wrestle, but she cannot stage fight, like have an actual fight. Which I think is adorable in this case.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
They put everything they had into it, and it really looks like they knew they were taking their cues directly from cheesy TV anyway. So
right.
I think they knew exactly what they were doing. Because you got Yvonne Craig running around in her Batgirl outfit, and they're like, we need to outdo this. Let's get rid of all the parts that the censors will let us get rid of. And they did. But on the other hand, her wrestling outfit, her professional outfit, is head to wrist to toe covering her body. And part of me sort of thinks that was a different person in the ring.
It might have been.
I really think it was.
Might have been.
So, but I'm you know what, just for pure fun, I'm gonna give this an A-.
All right.
I enjoyed the shit out of this. And I watched it.
I'm right
I
there
watched
with
it
you.
before Apartment 143, so it did not affect my viewing.
See, I watched it after, so it seemed even better.
Oh, of course, yeah.
I watched them back to back yesterday, actually. I'm going to recommend this too. We've done a lot of Renee Cardona stuff, and I would say most of the time it hits. Even like the worst Santo flick is still like, there's still fun. You still get some fun out of it. And this is one of the better ones I feel that we've watched for sure. It's nice to have a female heroine in it, only because so many of those Mexican movies are like, Santo or Blue Demon or any of those guys. So it's cool to see one with somebody else, beautiful woman running it, and a very competent character too. That's the thing that I think is really most impressive.
Yeah.
Is that like at no point does she need to rely on a man to
It's way
do
ahead of
anything
its
for
time,
her.
especially
For sure.
here.
For
what
sure.
we were doing here with not doing that.
Right, yeah. We had to wait 10 years to get Foxy Brown or whatever,
Yeah.
It's great. It's fun. It's it's poorly made. I mean, there's a few boom mics that we see drop in, and it's exactly what you'd expect. It's silly, it's weird, but it's fun. So on one hand, it's terrible.
Yeah.
On the other hand, it's amazing. So I'm gonna give it a B.
Yeah.
And I highly recommend it. You can watch it for free on Tubi.
Mm-hmm.
You just got to search under Batwoman. Don't say the.
Right.
Also available on Midnight Pulp, which is another app that we don't really talk about a whole lot in here, but it's free, and you can get tons and tons of stuff on.
Is
there.
it good
Tons of
now?
great stuff.
I remember when it first came out and when they first launched, and I was going through for a few months, and it was like, ugh, there was nothing there, nothing worth watching. Is it better now?
There's a bunch more stuff now.
Okay.
It's actually very similar to Tubi, just without all of the mainstream stuff.
I really,
it's a lot of the same stuff.
Really
actually.
hope Tubi doesn't go the way of all the other channels that used to do this stuff, and they're like, oh,
well, once it starts to make money,
Yeah.
once it starts to make a decent amount of money, it will. Tubi is already doing their own originals, so that's usually the first step of them getting rid of everybody else's content once they start to make their own.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
I'd love to start a streaming service and just keep it this kind of stuff, no matter what.
I mean, I feel like most of them. I mean, they all start out that way,
Yeah.
but it's like the business side of it is there's only so much money you can give away before you need to.
Yeah.
You need to keep some of it. You know what I mean? And I get that. I think it sucks that we think back to Netflix when we first started the show.
Yeah.
And they had everything you could ever imagine on there for like the whole movie fan.
Yeah. Now you don't even
and
get
Prime
full
was the
seasons
same
of
way.
shit.
Yeah, no kidding. Prime was the same way, and then I'm a perfect example as an independent filmmaker that was making money off of Prime, and then they were like, nope, sorry.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah. So check this out. Available on Midnight Pulp. Available on Tubi. The Batwoman, whatever you want to. Great, lots of fun.
And
Can't go wrong.
the subtitled on YouTube. If
Yep.
you can't find it anywhere
Yep.
else, yeah.
All right. So you remember last week when I played Joe's same segment 2 weeks in a row, right?
Of course, because people couldn't let that go.
I've got one. I've got one. I'm gonna play. I promise it won't be one I've already played.
Oh, it's not gonna be from 6 weeks ago.
No.
Children of the Corn 3.
Well, hello, Bill. Hello, Chris, and hello, OTC Nation. It's your boy Joe here, and this week Bill made me watch Trancers 5: Sudden Death, and well, I feel like I'm the one who's fucking dying. In hindsight, after watching Trancers 4 and 5, I may have been a bit harsh on Trancers 2 and 3. I would like to retroactively raise the grades of 2 and 3 by at least a half grade each. Bill, what say you?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Chris?
Sure. I don't know why.
Can we make this happen?
But sure.
I'm assuming you both said yes. Thank you. I touched a bit last week on how the premise was fine, but there were things that could have been done to make Trancers 4 a good, fun, enjoyable movie, and they just didn't do that. It might not be fair to say, because I'm sure most of the people who worked on it did their best, or at least tried their best. I think that speaks to what it takes to actually make a good movie. All cylinders need to fire. You're kind of threading a needle in a way, but the needle, there's like multiple needles and multiple threads. There's writers, directors, actors, special effects departments, etc., etc. I don't know. I think I might be more apt to appreciate good movies after watching Trancers 4 and 5. It's almost like, and bear with me, you take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have the facts of life. On the other hand, Trancers 5 might be someone out there's like favorite movie, so who am I to yuck someone's yum? I own on DVD and watch at least once a year the movie that should have won Best Picture in 1985 over Amadeus. I speak, of course, about Jim Cotta. Point is, we all have our thing, and that's why we're all here. That's pretty much the point of this podcast. Hey, fellas, sorry to be weirdly philosophical this morning. I woke up in kind of a weird mood, and I wish my brain would just let me write mean-spirited jokes about a bad movie instead of being all thinky. Trancers 5. Hey, anyone want to take a guess at how long the intro to Trancers 5, where they, wrap everything from the last movie up, they give you the condensed version and tell you everything that happened? Bill, how long do you think it was?
9 minutes.
Okay, Chris, take your best guess, my dude.
17.
All right, the answer is 10 minutes. The whole first 10 goddamn minutes of this movie are just the Weasley bad guy Toady from part 4 recounting in painful fucking detail everything that happened leading up to this. As if somehow we live in a reality where someone who had never seen Trancers would see part 5 on the video store shelf, become interested, and rent it instead of finding parts 1 through 4 first. Like, am I the asshole here?
Yes.
Don't answer that. I'll rephrase. Am I specifically an asshole for hating wrap-ups in movies that are both for people of specific movie tastes and that were only made 9 months after the previous installment?
Yes, you're still an asshole.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just the asshole for actually caring about something like that.
Yeah, you're an asshole.
Yeah, moving on. Even better than the wrap-up is that Jack Death doesn't even show up until 21 minutes into Trancers 5. That's always a good sign, having your star not show up until almost a third of the way through your movie. They're focusing heavily on the son of the king of the Trancers, who turned against him and joined the rebellion and is now falling in love with the hot girl leader of the rebellion, and it's all Romeo and Juliet. And congratulations to Trancers 5 on being the 1,000,000th time I have seen that overused trope. Bum 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 bum, and confetti falls from the ceiling, and someone hands Charles Band a big fake check that instead of like the amount of money in the amount line, it just reads, "Joe is tiring of your shit." Jack is poring over text in a big-ass book that is written in like a pictograph kind of language in another dimension that he just came to like last Tuesday. The prince, who is desperately trying to not trance out, gives him the Iggy that this book just so happens, just coincidentally, happens to be about interdimensional travel. Who knew? Here's a thing that stands out. It's been pointed out, mostly referring to video games, where women's armor and men's armor are designed slightly differently. Same levels of power, but where the men's armor covers everything but hands and head, the women's armor covers slightly less. The leader of the rebellion, a powerful warrior lady and whatnot, looks like she's the cover girl for the April 1066 cover of Leather Bikini Weekly. Battle of Hastings jokes aside, I'm not complaining because she's easy on the eyes. You would just think that, when sword fighting is like a near daily occurrence, that you would want to cover more from the waist up than just your tits. In a straight-to-video nutshell, Jack and Prince Trancer have to travel to a castle called, I shit you not, the Castle of Unrelenting Terror. That's its name. That's not a nickname. That's not a colloquialism. That's its actual name.
That's kind of awesome, actually.
They're trying to steal a diamond that can help Jack get back to his own dimension, and they call it the The Diamond.
Ha!
All right.
The Diamond.
All right.
It's like Diamond, but how like a fucking child would turn it into a pun. It's got all the classic adventure tropes. There's like a harem of hot ladies who lull you into just dying there in a state of like faux bliss, and mirror images of yourselves that are all evil and point out how bad you suck and how you should just give up. And it's kind of a lot like a D&D campaign, but if it was made by people who don't have the imagination to effectively play the greatest of games.
Okay.
Yada yada. The Trancer King gets the Diamond. Big fight between good and bad, and just as the baddies are going to win, they don't. And then Jack quantum leaps back home, but the Prince Trancer is with him. Set up for a sequel that didn't happen until 8 years later, and I'm pretty sure Tim Thomerson isn't even in that one. So something tells me we won't get the continuation of this riveting story. Here's the thing. The good. Well, it's all fantasy adventure, and I tend to like, high fantasy and adventure, so I didn't hate this.
Okay.
The bad. I didn't love it either. It feels like the story you'd write with your other nerd friends, like in 8th grade. Trancers 5 is going to get a C. And I'll be back next week with Trancers 6, which I didn't even know existed until a few weeks ago. Until then, be good, everyone.
The Trancer series just sounds boring in general, I think.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what they're going for anymore with it. Or in the first place.
Yeah, none of it really makes any sense to me.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Well, Scott's here. Thank you very much, Joe. And sorry for screwing your segments up last week. But I gave him an extra week to get to digest 6. So, all right. So Scott says, hope this isn't the same segment you played last week.
No, play the same segment he did last week.
Too late. I already opened this one. You're listening to Outside the Cinema, your weekly source for occult movie discussion. We're your hosts, Bill and Chris.
Yep.
For over 27,000 weeks.
Sure has felt like 27,000 weeks. Fuck.
Holy shit.
With Reverend Scott.
Oh my God, he's pocket size.
Hey there, Bill and Chris. This is Reverend Scott. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm looking really damn good today if I do say so myself.
He's just looks like a dick.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He just looks like a jerk.
He really does. He is just, I want to hit him. I really do. He's an asshole. 8 ways to Sunday, right off the bat.
Okay, wow. I was gonna tell you about a show I've been watching, but now I'm not sure I even want to.
Go ahead.
I don't think you deserve to hear about it.
It seems like he just hates everything. He's a huge dick.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, that's true. But while I think about what you do deserve to hear about, let's review your reviews from last week. Starting with a movie from the maker of Videodrome, and Videodrome. David Cronenberg.
You name it, he directed it, unless it's not one of his films.
That's a good point. You got to make sure you have that clarification that he's done a lot of movies, but only the ones he's done.
And one of the ones that he's done that you covered was Shivers. Or was it Shriveled?
Shriveled. We're talking about shriveled. There's cold water, a pool, and nudity. It's shriveled.
Tell us a little bit about Shriveled, Bill.
It's a zombie movie played out like a porno.
Yeah.
Sounds sexy. And it is. But that's just what you come to expect from Cronenberg. He's known for body horror. Sexy body horror.
Gross.
If you were to ask me, I'd say he's the best. If you were to ask Chris, he would say he's the second best.
He's no Glenn Danzig, let me just say. All right?
I haven't seen this one yet, but it sounds very interesting. And since I love all the movies that I've seen of Cronenberg's that are Videodrome, I'll have to watch it. I give it, I don't know. What would you give this, Chris?
I'm going to give this a B. Hold on. Let me see. A B. A B.
Sounds like a B. And I give the review a B+. But enough about zombie porn, let's get back into some found footage. Specifically, the final project, which Bill started out immediately praising.
So, okay, I will start by paying this film a compliment. And I will tell you right now, up front, it is the only one it's going to get.
I don't remember what the compliment was, though. I also don't remember what this was about. I'm guessing it's a group of kids screaming through shaky cam, then it suddenly ends. I don't know. Can you tell us more about it, Chris?
It's on Tubi, and we watched it, so D-.
I agree, D-. But I give the review a C+. But what can you expect from a crap movie to start with that Chris couldn't even finish?
It was just bad.
It was very stunted, very unnatural.
But do you know what isn't bad, not stunted, and is very natural? It's a show on your boy HBO Max that I've been watching called The Flight Attendant.
Oh, yeah.
It stars Kaylee Kuko. Some of you may know her from a show Chris might like if he ever watched it called The Big Bang Theory.
Nope, never heard of it.
You really should check that out, Chris.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you should also check out The Flight Attendant. It's a funny show about a bumbling alcoholic woman child named Cassie. She's a flight attendant that spends the night with a nice rich gentleman and wakes up next to him with his throat slit and he's dead in the bed, and she's all like,
something's not right here. That's a little weird.
Well, I mean,
and that's just the catalyst for season 1. Cassie gets caught up with murder, the CIA, mobsters, and all kinds of shit as he tries to clear her own name before she gets thrown in jail for a crime she doesn't think she committed. When she's not drinking with, sleeping with, or running from someone, she's talking to a vision of the man who was murdered, trying to figure out who did it. I'm currently 6 episodes into season 2. And while it's not quite as good as season 1 so far, I think it's ramping up to a big finale. It involves even more mysteries that has Cassie saying,
what the fuck is going on here?
What are those mysteries? I guess you just have to watch it and find out for yourself. HBO Max, please pay me now for that advertisement. Okay, that's all I have for this week, but I wanted to make sure you tune in next week to Outside the Cinema when Chris sees a bear but thinks it's a man.
Dude is super hairy. Which is fine, but it's just like you don't see hair like that on people anymore.
Then Bill sees a man and thinks it's a bear. And finally, Chris realizes we got a bunch of those holes already. Bill agrees.
Oh, shit. Yeah, we got a bunch of those holes already.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do.
All that and so many other holes we already got. But until then, peace and love, guys. Outside the Cinema, with professional podcasters Bill and Chris playing the same segment from Joe 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, it sounded really familiar there.
Yeah, things that are hilarious. I played the wrong one. Sorry, Joe. Man, I'm bad at... Should I just play Scott's segment from last week?
If you want to hear about it for 6 months, yes.
Oh, no. He'll be like, well, fuck me and make too much work.
I'm going to do that anyway.
What the hell was I referring to when I made that weird sound?
I don't know. You do that every now and then. You do it. It's your pearl clutching shocked sound. Yeah. How dare you?
How dare you? Oh. All right, guys. Yeah, next week we're not going to record till Wednesday. So if you get the show earlier, if you watch it on Twitch or YouTube, it won't be available until later in the week. If you want to join the Patreon, patreon.com/outsidethecinema. Get full show archives of everything we've ever done. Plus, you get the shows early normally. Plus, there's also other stuff. We got a couple of suggested movies coming up from there. I'll get those out at some point to Chris so we can know. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah, sounds good.
Got anything else?
I'm good. I think I got a whole week's worth of work ahead of me, so I got to do that.
All right, everyone have a good week. We'll talk to you very soon.
Bye.